People saying Ether is the Black Slim Shady. Yo, that video where I'm breaking down the Black Slim Shady in my opinion and how I, feel like it is. And again, y'all could join the Patreon and debate me on it, me and Coop on it on Monday. We'll be here to debate this whole Eminem thing. But the comments, man, it's all over the place. It's like you could tell who are the Eminem fans and who are the people who maybe game fans or people who are neutral. And it feels like the feedback that I get from a lot of the Eminem fans is the fact that they don't think he has to respond. They think this is clout chasing. Even Eminem's daughter, Haley, she went out there and made a post about the fact that, her dad's so famous that people have to diss him to get attention and sell records or whatever. But see,
Look here.
my thing is, and respectfully, this is what I'm gonna say respectfully. Did he not do the same thing with Britney Spears, Will Smith, Christina Aguilera? How many times has this man mentioned Christopher Reeves in such a disparaging way in his rhymes? Is that not cloud chasing?
Can I submit something to you?
Go
This
ahead.
is one of those things, and we were talking about this before. I was like, no, this is kind of what we created the Patreon for, was to give, the people who follow, fans of, however they would like to classify themselves of this show, the opportunity to really state, uh, with some factual or with some sort of like valid, intelligent premise, what makes them feel this way. Because I'll tell
Right.
you what, one of my old friends from like the first time I went to college, like at UNCG in Greensboro, my boy Trio slid in my DMs about this. And I've known this guy since I was 17 years old, and he's not the type of guy that does stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so this kind of like has sparked a lot of nerve and a lot of people, and I think and Trio didn't really come out and say it, but he's kind of like, I kind of know his musical taste from the time of like when we used to roll together. And it's like, well, it does look like it's clout chasing to some, and so it needs to be addressed in that manner. And I think you just did kind of like somewhat, but I mean, and here's what I mean. Here's what I mean about here's the advantage with the Patreon too, is that like no, let's play these disses that Eminem has been doing that you're talking about into who, and then let's compare them like artistically and in the rap sphere to game and see if he does have, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let me
Like
ask you this, and I think
let's
this is
prove it.
this is the reason why I also thought it was perfect that he called it the Black Slim Shady. So the real Slim Shady in every Slim Shady record, was he not clout chasing? Was he
Mm.
not clout chasing on How My Name Is with Marilyn Manson and you know what I mean and all that imagery? Was he not clout chasing on the real Slim Shady with Fred Durst, Carson Daly, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears?
Mariah Carey.
I mean, I don't think that was in the real Slim Shady. But I'm
No,
talking
I'm
about,
just
yeah,
saying, just as far as the
yeah.
clout
But
chasing,
I'm
it doesn't
saying
get
like
any
his
like
Slim Shady songs were the clout chasing songs, right?
I
If
mean,
he's
see,
piggybacking off of popular culture, he did it with Will Smith on the real Slim Shady too, and when he did that on Without Me, Moby's name, like it's nothing but name dropping, honestly. But when he does it, it's just Slim Shady being Slim Shady, right?
mm, I told you, you've made some very valid assertions. And even right now, as you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, well, when he was making a lot of those comments, I mean, first of all, I don't care what anybody thinks. He'll never be bigger than Mariah. And that's why I like immediately went to that. It's like, oh, well, that's clout chasing.
Yeah.
Like
What
saying
about when
Mariah's
he
name is
dissed?
clout chasing.
I didn't even want to go here, but what about when he was dissing Michael Jackson on "Lose It"? That's not cloud chasing. When you had the kids jumping on the bed and shit. Come on, man. That's the biggest artist in the world. And you know
Biggest
what? He
artist
got
ever.
called out for that too.
Biggest artist ever.
Yeah, ever.
Ever. Ever.
So how is that not cloud chasing? Every time Slim Shady came out, he was cloud chasing. So I think that Game calling this the Black Slim Shady is perfect because the Slim Shady character is a cloud chaser.
And he gets to get away with everything, apparently, because you're making
Apparently,
very valid
he
points.
could say anything in his lyrics. He could talk about raping his own mother. He can say anything in his lyrics. No one says
See,
anything.
hmm, see, here's the thing. The middling reviews about Drillmatic though, is not helping diffuse the clout chasing claims, because here's the reality of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to bring this guy up. Well, when that R. Kelly tape came out, part of what made us kind of forget was the fact that he made Chocolate Factory. You feel what I'm saying?
I agree with
great,
that.
great music has a tendency to
I
just like
agree with
it's
that.
just like athletes when they get in trouble. It's like, you know, like the year people forget the year Tom Brady got suspended for 4 games. Well, he also ended up holding up the Lombardi Trophy that year.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of forget that he was suspended 4 games.
On some BS, by the way.
On some, I mean, any way you want to call it. You feel what I'm
But no,
saying?
I feel you. It's kind of like erased from history.
Right. And so what I will say is, and I said this on the Patreon show, and I believe I said it on the Friday show, where is the classic and the great stuff? Because I feel like if there was more classic stuff on this album, not great, not good, classic, that we probably wouldn't be having this conversation so much about clout chasing, because we would be talking about how great the album is. Like,
What?
think about it. R. Kelly dropped Chocolate Factory, and we stopped acting like he was a nasty bastard. We were literally stepping in the name of love.
I want to refute that to a certain extent. I'm gonna go to these.
Stepping in the name of love, you know you did.
I'm gonna go to these super chats real quick. Nas the Goat says, "M always been a cloud chaser his whole career." Correct. Stillmatic says, "Born to Rap is underrated. That album is fire. I like Born to Rap too." Ohio K says, "M needs to come outside. This is hip hop. If you really that dude, prove it." That's all I've been saying. Stillmatic says people hating on the game because he's a rap threat to Eminem. And that's where I was gonna go too, Coop, because I don't even think it really matters what the music sounds like, because a lot of people, even with this the Black Slim Shady song, they keep harping on the fact that it's 10 minutes. Who cares that it's 10 minutes? Is the song good or not? It's like they're trying to play on the short attention spans of the public, or try to flip it like he's such a fan that he's just so fanatic over Eminem he had to spend 10 minutes on him. Like,
No, I
it
don't like
doesn't
that
even
play on
matter
it.
what the 10, you know what I mean?
I don't like the play on it. I don't like that play on it, but I do wish that it was more palatable, time wise. Like, I mean, I think like Nature of the Threat by Ross Koss is like what, 7 minutes 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
But
So
see,
this
I
is like
feel
three
like
or four
even
minutes. So this is about 3 or 4 minutes past like hip hop's greatest thesis statement, like recorded on wax, in my opinion. You feel me?
you know what? I think that even if it were 7 minutes, people would say, "Oh man, it's 7 minutes." You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he had a lot to get out there, and even for it to be just a bait track, he got a lot out there. I don't like. Did you saw what Hit Boy had to say?
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't like that
Didn't enjoy it.
because I don't, and I get it. You know what that speaks to me? It speaks to how politically powerful that Eminem is as a individual and as an artist and just as an institution. Hit Boy didn't want to be blackballed in any kind of way when it comes to that side of things, because no one ever asked a producer about any diss record ever. Do we know who made Rap Devil? I have no idea.
No.
I didn't like that. I mean, and let's be real, man. I'm not saying Hit Boy ain't telling. Listen, I'll never know, but it's hard for me to believe that you made a beat that sounds like a Slim Shady beat in your arsenal of beats, and Game just happened to pick that one, and then you want to say that he was paying homage to him, or insinuate that he was giving him respect on your half. But the part where he was actually going in on him, you didn't produce. Come on, man. It's hip hop. It's okay. Like, no one is absolved of being dissed on the record. Like, Kanye made Takeover. It's all good.
Kanye's first placement is with Nas, and he did Takeover still. Yeah, Kanye's first placement, Nas is rapping on. Like, so, yeah. It's the
He did
game.
Takeover and then turned right around and had Nas on Late Registration, one of the strongest songs on there. And then had the next song, Jay-Z Diamonds remix. It's cool.
The other way around. It was Diamonds.
Was it
Then the
Diamonds
remake.
in there? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We Major was after that? All right.
Yeah, it's
I'm
13 and
dyslexic.
14. Yeah.
Bagger Jones with the super chat says KD 3 is officially on the clock of coming out. We'll talk about that today too. But as
Yes.
far as being on the clock, Slim Shady's on the clock. I'm talking about the real Slim Shady. He's got to stand up, and I don't want to hear this nonsense about he don't need to respond. Yes, he has to respond. If
I
he's
mean,
the super battle rapper that you guys say he is, and he's one of
I
the
do
all-time
fundamentally,
greats, you know,
no, I do fundamentally feel that just on a hip hop level, because of the like, this is what I'm saying. Let's put the record aside. On a fundamental hip hop level, you have been challenged by a credible, noteworthy MC.
mm-hmm.
That is all it should take. So we don't need to really have, like, just for me as a head, we don't even need to have the song conversation. It's like, is Game challenging you to a duel? Then you need to accept the challenge, because that is how this game goes.
You got 11 albums, he got 11 albums. You've went platinum many a times, he's gone platinum many a times. This ain't, even when, let's keep it all the way real. Jay-Z in '05, when Game came in the door, coming to Jay. At that point, Game just having the documentary and Jay being who he was in '05, having a whole career, he had no business challenging Jay at that point. You could say that person isn't on that level. You know what I mean? And Jay responded to him anyway because this is hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jay is competitive, and he understands that part of being great. And this is what I'm saying. Every game has unsaid and unspoken rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are certain things that you don't do in basketball to players, like in a fast break or in certain situations, because it could get them hurt or in their career, like the whole Patrick Beverly Russell Westbrook thing.
Right.
Like Westbrook was right. That's kind of like an unsaid rule. You don't kind of put me in that kind of harm's way over that at that point in time. Correct. Just like with football, it's like, well, not my neck, not my knees.
Exactly.
The fragile areas.
You don't go after my career.
Right. Don't go in my career. But those are team sports. I've always told you I'm a big tennis fan. I love tennis because it's like one-on-one type of kill shot type of stuff.
Yeah.
And when the bracket gets drawn up, I mean, Mike, you go play. So go play. Because that's the type of sport that this is. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Serena just caught a bad draw and lost in the first round yesterday. A lot of people don't know the person that she lost to, but she lost to one of the Emma's one of the best young players out right now. The draw didn't go well. Serena still had to go out and play.
Yeah.
You feel me?
You're right. You know what, man? It doesn't matter who you are. And like you said, Serena's at...
The draw says you have to go play. This is hip hop. It's competitive sport. It's one-on-one.
You're right. No, you got to go out there. If you're in the game, you got to play. Now, if you're not in the game, go ahead and retire and you out of here. Even Tom Brady, being 45 years old, he's going to have to go out here and play against these 21, 22-year-olds. They're not just going to hand him a trophy.
Mike,
based on his legacy, you're out here now.
Let's get back to the tennis reference. Nadal's about to play tonight. Nadal's been out with a tear in his ribs that made him pull out of Wimbledon. He was on the verge of winning his 23rd major and going literally 3-up on Federer and Djokovic, and now it's just one. He has to go out and play one of those young people you're talking about tonight. Yeah. You want to know why? Because he's back from injury. The U.S. Open's around the corner. The draw says you have to go play.
Are you in or you out?
You entered the tournament, right? You're a tennis player, right? You feel what I'm saying?
You in or you out?
Are you in or you out?
Yeah.
And so from that basic competitive level, that's what I mean. It's like, oh, well, we don't have to talk about the song. We can talk about the fact, well, this is hip hop, and hip hop kind of works the same way that tennis does. It's like, no. This is one-on-one. This is mano a mano. This is for sport. This is for draw.
We rank
He's pretty much
people.
saying,
We rank people, and I know a lot of people don't love when we do that, but at the end of the day, there's nothing more head to head and competitive when artists challenge each other on the mic. This is one of the rare things that the genre of hip hop has that other genres just don't have. You don't have an infrared. You don't have a Duppy freestyle. And you know what? I'm not a huge Drake fan like a lot of people out there, but I will respect the fact that Drake, time and time again, steps up to the challenge. And I laugh it off about the fact he was missing for a month after the story of Adidon, but he responded to Infrared very promptly with Duppy Freestyle, and it was good enough for him to get some real heat coming his way, and he
yeah,
wasn't
we got
afraid
story
to,
added on.
yeah,
Right. Think about it. It got story added on in our
yeah,
push. Right. So here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean, is that like you kind of play like in the bracket and in the tournament. Well, let's look at it like this. You kind of are in your era, and even when you transcend era, when people challenge you in that era, you have to take on all the challengers. Look at all the challenges Jay is taking on. Look at all the challenges Nas is taking on. That Snoop is taking on. You
50
feel what I'm
Cent.
saying?
And if 50 went at
50.
guys that he knew were
Damn.
better than him. You know what I mean? Like straight up.
Yeah. I mean, even though I feel like he straight took Ja Rule's style right after he dissed him, he took on like, a camp that was literally at their peak running radio.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
Deontay Smith with the super chat says, not an Eminem fan, but Game is trying to sell albums. He did this with Meek before 1992's album. Now Meek is on Drillmatic as if the beef never happened. What's wrong with anybody trying to sell albums though?
Meek is on Jesus Piece.
We've always, you know what I mean? Like,
Meek
are we gonna say
Jesus
that
Piece.
he is? Are we gonna say that about KRS-One when he went to MC Shan? Was he trying to sell albums?
Well, you see, this is what I'm saying. You don't hear KRS-One like getting into a battle with like DMX. Well, that's not his competitive bracket or his era. That's like Steffi Graf challenging like Serena Williams. You feel what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like no. That's then. This is So it's like this is what's in front of you as an MC, and Game is a credible MC. And even if the MC is not credible, you know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to go out there and win 6 love, if that's the case. You feel me?
You know who was really trying to sell albums, and I like the guy, and you're not as much of a fan of the MC as I am. Cannabis was trying to sell albums. You have no, you have no reason for your first single ever to be a diss record at somebody of the magnitude as a LL Cool J. Now that is trying to sell records.
That's
and if we're not
chasing.
going to sit here,
that was clout chasing.
yeah, and if we're not going to hold Cannabis, yeah, and if we're not going to hold Cannabis to that same carpet, we cannot say the same thing about somebody as established as the Game. Cannabis went at LL Cool J, an icon in what was that 1998? Where LL was 97 was it 7 or 8?
7 or 8.
Where LL was at that point, LL was in no man's land. He was the most iconic MC hip hop had at that point. This guy's coming in the door with his debut album, ain't sold an individual record yet, with his first single being a diss record on LL Cool J, and no one ever called him a clout chaser for that. So if y'all not gonna do that to Cannabis, y'all can't do this to Game and act like he's trying to sell records.
It was recorded in 97, released in 98.
Okay. And he was out there doing it at the House of Blues and all that. And again, it was entertaining, it was hip hop. And once again, LL Cool J, being the established artist that he is, doing movies, doing a sitcom, putting out albums, he could have brushed that off and been good. He still responded.
Do you remember the phone call that got released?
I do remember the phone call.
So think about this. You're right. Not only
that made me look at the situation way different too, the phone call.
Well, think about this. It's like, well, he's rapping his ass off. He's making great music. He's making a sitcom. And he, along with Ice Cube and Queen Latifah, like LL Cool J, along with Will Smith and Queen Latifah and Ice Cube, are also responsible for the hip hop transfusion and ascension into TV, film, Hollywood. And all of this is literally going on while this is happening. And he still took time to respond.
And he talked to Cannabis on the phone like, listen, man,
don't
let these guys gas you up. Yeah, don't let these guys gas you up.
He
Don't
tried
do
to help
this.
him. He
Yeah,
tried
he
to
tried to help, and he was being genuine with it too.
He was. He
Like
meant
he
it
was. He
because he
wasn't
knew
on.
how the game went. Because he understood.
Yeah. Vincent Hughes with the super chat says M's greatest victory was over Anthony Mackie.
That's very problematic.
It's true, too. That wasn't M, man. That was B Rabbit. B Rabbit is not
So
a
this
real
is what I
person.
mean. So this is what I mean about how you play who's in front of you. So today I'm watching First Take, and part of the reason why I'm watching is because they're talking about Serena, because Serena's about to retire, and the guy opposed to Stephen A. starts talking about Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf. Now, me personally, I always feel like the conversation for Serena being the greatest player of all time is between her and Steffi Graf. Steffi has 22, Serena has 23. The guy brought up the competition factor that Steffi and Martina face versus Serena. But Stephen A., like he said, is like, but she whooped everybody that was in front of her.
Yeah.
As in, it's not like she was like, oh no, I'm Serena, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's come one, come all. That's how competitive sport and one-on-one goes. And that's just it at the end of the day. It's not negotiable. It's not, well, I'm at a certain place in my career and this. Even when, think about this, even when 50 went at Nas like literally took a shot at him. Nas made a whole diss record telling him, like, don't diss me anymore, or I'm really gonna have to diss you for real.
Listen, man, 50 Cent had to take Checkmate. He had to take what was that record that Styles and Jada did over the I Shot You remix.
I know what you're talking
He
about. I can't
took
think
those
of it.
records. Listen, I give 50 a lot of props for taking a lot of heavy records, and he'll come with something like "I Run New York" or "I Run New York" was hard.
It's dope.
It was dope. I love that record. I love
Yeah.
that beat too. But
It's hard.
yeah, that shit was hard. But at the same time, like I said, it's the sport. You understand that the people that you're going against are great MCs, and they coming with the heat, and it ain't no hiding, man. Like at that time, let's just be real. 50 Cent selling the records that he was selling on Get Rich or Die Trying, he could have just act like that shit didn't even happen.
Hold on. How to Rob is clout chasing.
It is. We loved it though, right?
I remember when it came out on the Nothing to Lose soundtrack. It was one of the highlights.
Exactly. But
Well,
like
not
I said,
Nothing to Lose. In Too Deep.
In Too Deep.
There was a
no, you're right.
Noriega song on there that was rough.
If you look up Clout Chasing on Wikipedia, How to Rob should be the song that exemplifies this the most. And it was dope. You know what I'm saying? We'd all loved it. This ain't serious. Being broke might make you delirious or whatever. He got some shots back for that. It was cool.
Ghost took some shots at him.
Everybody did. Knuckles.
Jay, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50
Exactly.
cent?
But no one's out here calling that record a clout chasing record. You see how you guys move the goalposts when it comes to Eminem? It's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, Jay said that line live at Summer Jam.
He did. Yeah. He did. OG TK Cole, my guy, he said, let's not rewrite history. LL Cool J dissed Cannabis first. And then the whole Def Jam, then the whole Def Jam go blackball Cannabis. I lost a lot of respect for LL. And we getting this chronologically wrong because I do know that on 4321, Cannabis had that long verse. You can look that up on YouTube that they had to edit down on a posse cut. And LL told him to shorten his verse. And then LL proceeded to diss him on that record. Subliminally.
Okay, so here's what I believe happened. First of all, Cannabis is, and this is literally around the time where Cannabis and DMX are about to drop.
Yeah.
It's about to happen. And so, if I'm not mistaken, Cannabis is just used to doing these 24, 36, 48 bar verses on all these songs. And I mean, quite frankly, L was just the first guy really to check him and be like, well, hey, fam. Like,
He's LL Cool J.
Right, I'm LL Cool J.
He's not Mr. Cheeks. No disrespect. You know what I mean? But I think Mr. Cheeks would even say that.
Right.
You're not going to go out here and Beast to the East me, man, on my own album.
Right, and so L's just like, well, this is a posse record. We got Red.
Yeah.
We got Meth.
Yeah.
We got X, we got me. Like everybody else got 16, fam. So give me 16, please. And
This is
that
the
made
thing.
him write
Yeah.
some shady shit in there. And so when L heard the shady shit, then L went and wrote what he wrote. So that's him being a little arrogant. This is before this dude ever released an album. Do you understand the arrogance to be approaching LL Cool J this way? When you're on his record, you should be thanking God that you have made it to a point at this point in your career where you don't have an album out and LL Cool J wants a verse from you.
Out of respect for Red and Meth.
Period.
Out of respect for Red, Meth, and LL. You know, Master P, he's a, you know what I'm saying, he was a veteran at that point too. But where Meth, Red, and LL were in New York hip hop, you shouldn't go in there saying, you know what, I'm putting a 24 bar verse up. On a posse cut, how do you think that's not gonna get cut? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand that.
I mean, you have to understand too. This is like 1998. So when
Yeah.
LL and Meth and Redman, this is arguably like 3 of the 15 greatest MCs of all time in a lot of people's opinion. Like right there on the track. Like, are you bugging? Are you bugging?
Andrea Green with the super chat says, "What do y'all think about Nas? You wanna be me as a diss record, the J off the 8 Mile soundtrack? In my opinion, it was just scratching the surface as ether, but
I didn't love it.
as ether but indirect.
I didn't love it.
Yeah, it was.
He could have kept that. It was cool. He could have kept it. MC Burial, the one against 50, the MC the Don't Body Yourself, that was a way better subtle diss than Wanna Be Me, in my opinion.
But yeah, I think with the Cannabis on 4321, there were a lot of missteps. The mic on your arm thing, he could have gone without that.
That's conjecture.
Yeah, it
No, I
is.
mean,
It is, but we don't know what kind of side conversations were happening to the point of where, you know, of what LL thought about that mic on his arm and what that meant to him or whatever. The fact that he took it to that extent, because really, that's where the whole verse comes from. The whole diss verse from LL is the mic on his arm thing. You don't want to bother that. You want to idolize. You don't want to make me mad, nigga. You want to socialize. I mean, it's not like LL's like a stranger to posse cuts. I mean, he had some great verses on the I Shot You remix. He didn't come at Prodigy or Keith Murray or Foxy. Well, maybe some people might think somewhat, but go ahead.
Okay, no.
But you know what I'm saying? So I think it was the Cannabis thing was kind of like, no, this is a little bit too much, and I agree. I think first of all, being overzealous to the point where you want to do a 24 bar verse on a posse cut on somebody else's album, that's a little bit out of line.
Somebody else's album. It's LL Cool J.
Yeah.
It's not somebody. It's
OGTK Cole says,
"You're a new artist. I don't care how great you are. You're still a new artist. Like, think about this. Like think about think about Biggie doing Dolly My Baby for Supercat. Think about Nas doing Back at the Grill Again with MC Search. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, your LL Cool J is just telling you to cut it down. It's like, eat the food, fam. Like, eat the food. Like, scrape the plate."
I see people in the chat saying that LL was Cannabis's favorite rapper. I mean, this could have been handled differently. I personally hear more of Rakim in his style, and Rakim was actually on his second album and stuff too. But I feel like if LL was your favorite rapper, after listening to that phone conversation and LL telling you, this is what LL said in the phone conversation for people who haven't heard it. LL heard that there was going to be a diss record coming out, right? And he told Cannabis, like, listen, don't put that out. What we'll do, you and I will get on like some mixtape shit and do like a B-side record, put it out there and show some unity. And Cannabis said on that phone call, and you can look it up on YouTube, yeah, man, that's a good idea. Let's do that, man. I ain't mean nothing by whatever, man. This stuff's getting misconstrued. And then he put out the record anyway. That's what happened.
Hold on. Go ahead. We got a guy, OGTK Cole, who worked for Def Jam, saying LL Cool J asked Cannabis to change his verse. He said, I know for a fact I worked at Def Jam then. Bimmy is the one who told him to go at Cannabis. I don't know who Bimmy is. Man, LL Cool J asked Cannabis to change the verse. Cannabis did it. And then LL Cool J dissed him. SMH. I love LL.
Yeah.
This is just him talking in the chat. That's why he's putting it in all caps. I see him.
We see you,
I see you,
Yeah.
OGTK Cole.
Yeah. And I know he's a music insider, so I love your insight. Now, let me ask you this part of it. In that phone conversation, did they not come to terms where Cannabis said he wasn't going to put out the record and put it out anyway? Did that happen in that way? Or are things out of order in the timeline on that as well?
Benny from Supreme Team. Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Andrew Green with the super chat says Jay was spitting on right.
That's clean shit.
Andrew Green says Jay was spitting on Blueprint 2 diss to Nas. To me, it was better than Takeover with the bars, but the playful, corny Austin Powers hook kills the vibe. Agree? I didn't love the Austin Powers play on the song The Blueprint 2, but I do feel like if The Blueprint 2 would have actually happened in the place of Super Ugly, I think that things would have drawn out a little bit longer. I'd say that. Nas would have had to come with another record. Will T says Mike is wrong. Where am I wrong? I want to, we want to get this correct, and that's why we got you guys here.
Yeah, I mean, we're for the people. That's why it's like,
we're not gonna sit here and talk about what we know is law. I just know how I heard things. You know what I mean?
And I'm not throwing shade like shade's been getting thrown at us by other rap media publications here. But part of why we are who we are is because we truly do involve you all and want you to feel comfortable in this space to like share any facts that we're not privy to with us, so that the truth can be the truth and be documented that way. Like, according to hip hop, is a timepiece, and so we want to be getting that timepiece as accurate as possible. And so that happens with the assistance of the people. Timepieces don't occur when two men decide. It occurs when the people decide.
Yep. So that's how you get messed up history in that way.
That's how you get messed up history, when you just only have a few people disseminating information.
Yep, that gatekeeper stuff, man. OGTK Cole says, when Cannabis dissed LL, it was all hands on deck at Def Jam. So, all right, I'm glad we're kind of going down this route, right?
I like it.
I like this route because we haven't had this conversation about this individual, back and forth. I know, all right, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. But Cannabis seems to believe that Eminem wrote The Ripper Strikes Back for LL. Is there any truth to that, OG?
I want to hear this.
Call the paramedics and tell them that he pathetics his lyric ain't. Go ahead.
He's talking. I'm just shouting out TK Cole stuff. Lyor Cohen had all hands on deck at Def Jam when Cannabis dissed LL. Right.
I mean, because even the whole... And when Cannabis said that, though, I was like...
What a boss is supposed to do, protect his assets.
Of course. When Cannabis said that, though, the first bars that came to my mind was that call the paramedics and tell him that he pathetics, his lyrics ain't energetic, he's sweet as a diabetic. It was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to tell you what, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was telling them, it's like, well, that's my outside perspective. You're on the inside of that. And I said the inside information outweighs my outside perspective, even if I feel like my perspective's accurate. I'm going to take what you say from the inside than what my outside perspective is, even though I feel like my perspective is strong.
Whoa. I see something here. OGTK Cole says, no, there's no truth to this, but LL did not write it. Well, damn.
Well, who wrote it then?
I was going to leave it out there like that, but since you ask.
Fuck that. I don't play those types of games. We don't play that shit.
Since you ask.
No, since we already here.
Since we're already here.
No, since we 3 to 5.
Right. Yeah, send us a DM on IG or something. We might need to discuss this on the Patreon show or something.
That's a whole problem. That's very problematic.
I'm at a loss for words right now. But all that being said,
I just got okay putting the Biggie shirt back on. Why does this keep happening?
Eminem's got to respond to this record. Because again,
God.
If Cannabis can go out there with his first single, dissing an icon like LL Cool J.
Give me some of the bars from the Ripper right quick. Like, what's the wordplay look like?
Ask Cannabis. He ain't understanding this because 99% of his fans don't exist. Say that. Some lyrics is a house party where you could battle some clown. On top of all that, I beat your homeless ass down. Heard that convicted rapist on your record too. OG said I should have kept my mouth shut. Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, we could go on a cliffhanger. I don't know.
No, I mean, Redman's verbiage is comparable to some of that. Let's some Redman, because I'm thinking, who do they have inside the halls? Who do they have inside the halls that can write? Because here's the thing about it. That's write a rhyme a day, Redman. You feel me? That's prime Redman.
I'm running it through my head right now. I wasn't.
He said Royce is going to deny this, but Royce wrote that record.
Well, we were close. What? Oh my God, man. I didn't know this show was going down this route. You ready to talk about this versus thing?
No, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that and only that right now. What the fuck? Oh, God. Okay.
So when he says all hands on deck, he means all hands on deck.
Blue Collar Hustler. Okay, so is Royce signed to Def Jam by then? Is Boom? Like what?
What's the association? I don't know. That's something to ask OG, man. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, was it all hands on deck for Jay at Def Jam with Nas? You know, that's what I'll say about Jay, man. And again,
I think Jay had his own wing, kind of like Irv did.
But see, like LL's different, man, because LL made Def Jam. He built the building. And and Leor was there too. And so the level of respect and adulation that they have for LL and upholding him, I'm sure, is very different. Like you said, Jay had his own wing over there with Rockefeller. Jay was handling his shit. This has become a classic show right away, without words. You know, he said Royce is going to deny this, but I hope Royce is seeing this and, you know, at least gives us a little bit of insight. Because I don't know anything, man. This is all...
It's fair to Cannabis. Oh,
this is the thing, man. If all of this is true, right? And I'm not saying OG, you know, it's lying or anything like that, but let's just say hypothetically all of this is 100%. That's a lot of people ganging up on one man.
That's okay. So this is what I mean about like Nas beating the machine a lot of the time. It's like it's hard to beat the machine. Like you literally got to be like the best.
OG says Royce and Sauce Money was writing a lot of those later LL Cool J hits. Sauce is a great, he's a great ghostwriter. I think he's one of the greatest ghostwriters ever, actually.
Didn't he write I'll Be Missing You?
He did.
It's pretty far up there.
Yeah, he did. I think a lot of the stuff on No Way Out he wrote. I don't know. I kind of get lost between what he wrote and what Mace wrote. Because Mace is, you know what's funny? And I don't know if we said this in a previous show or if I said this on the phone with somebody. Mace is kind of Puff Daddy. Like that whole image that Puff Daddy has as a rapper, that's Mace.
Mace is shit, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, you wasn't telling me that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I could see how Mace feels a way or felt a way about certain things. Like, that whole image of what Puff Daddy is as a rapper, and we're not talking about the mogul and all that stuff, but as an artist, what Diddy is, That's pretty much Mace. Every record that Diddy made as a rapper, you could see Mace making. The
Yeah.
Neptune record, the D, the I, the D,
No,
stuff.
that's straight
Yeah.
Mace. Straight Mason Bethel. Yeah.
Ethan Hill with the super chat says 50 Cent said last week he wrote Paradise for LL. Whew. Man, y'all coming with the heat today, man. Man, y'all coming with the heat today, man. Don't ruin.
Is there any? Did he have any ghostwriters from 85 to 95? Because that's where literally 95% of his classic stuff lies.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I think you and I have spoken about this before. I mean, I don't know anything, and I could be wrong, but I'll say this, man. I could hear Big Daddy Kane's voice on "Around the Way Girl" and "Jingling Baby" remix. Uncle L, fusion of the funk. Now, maybe he's highly influenced. Same thing with "Backseat of My Jeep." Coop, sounds like you've seen something. What are you seeing over there? Because I'm not even reading the chat.
I'm just.
Sign up to the Patreon. We got it pinned up to the top, man. And we're gonna have some real discussions, man. I didn't know this was gonna go down this road. Are you ready to go on to something else? I didn't know
this was gonna happen either. It's not like we playing for OGTK Cole to like pull up and like literally drop an ill bomb on us. Literally.
Because again, man, who wrote Ill Bomb?
That's what I'm saying.
I was listening to that song the other day, man. I refuse to believe somebody else wrote Ill Bomb.
I want some Ill Bomb information.
Just call him a name.
OGTK Cole, no, stay. He said, I'm about to get me in trouble. We're talking.
Yeah, we're done talking. We're going to the verses.